Hello there everybody, Scotia here, and welcome to hell. You know, just welcome to hell on earth. Yeah, I wanted to do a video, basically a bit more of a, I would say calmer. It's probably not going to be calm for long, but a bit more kind of, you know, it's been a couple days since Alex was added to Street Fighter 6. I'm sure most people by now have probably seen my super hype reactions to Alex's arcade and world tour content. Time moping around. That was until Tom reminded me that, what the fuck? I'm actually gonna fucking myself. You just established they're cousins. You just established 2 conversations ago. That was never a thing before today. Oh dude, they're baby headbands. I'm actually gonna fucking cry. What the fuck? Oh, fuck off. Oh dude, what the fuck? Why? Why him? Why my character? Why Alex? She is like a real sister to Alex, and she loves him like an older brother. Fuck Capcom. But yeah, I just wanted to do a bit more of an in-depth video, because it's been a couple of days since then, and you know, I've gotten a lot of the immediate disgust and rage out of the way. At least I think I have, you know, we'll see how it goes. As we talk more about this video, because there's things that have come out since then which somehow makes all of this even worse, which I didn't think was possible, but I guess Capcom finds a way. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just going to be me talking a bit more in depth about my feelings on some things, going in more depth about some of the issues I have with this, obviously. So yeah, we'll just get into it, because man, things have never been more over than they are right now, in all honesty. But yeah, let's just get into it. So obviously it goes without saying, my stance on this is still exactly the same as it was the other day from the reactions in the live stream. I think this is an absolutely disgusting change. Absolutely assassinates Alex's character and Patricia's and Tom's as well. This is 3 characters who have just been absolutely butchered by this. Holy shit, like these characters are done. Like Alex is done. Tom is done, Patricia is done, like nobody will ever look at these characters the same now. But I think I want to first talk about, and I don't want to spend too long on this because this is kind of, it really pisses me off, to be honest, because it's just, it's such a complicated thing, and I'm not really prepared for this because this isn't my thing. If you're into incest stuff and sister cousin fucking and stuff like that, by all means, be into it. But my biggest issue here is that if this game was called I impregnated my sister cousin and then married her, the visual novel, cool, marry and impregnate all the sister cousins you want, but the game isn't called that, it's called Street Fighter 6. I didn't come to Street Fighter 6 to see characters I like impregnate their sister cousins and marry them. And that is the biggest disconnect, and I feel like that's something that people kind of aren't really seeing, or at least the people who are defending this and trying to downplay it aren't seeing. Like, I don't care if you're fine with it, I don't care if you don't care about story, because again, this has brought up the whole argument again of, oh, who cares about story in fighting games? Dude, I don't want to play as a character who impregnated and married their, like, second cousin who they grew up with and helped raise as a baby. I don't want that. I don't want to play that. I don't come to Street Fighter for that. I don't come to anything for that. But I certainly don't come to Street Fighter for that. And why they felt the need to insert this in this game is something I don't think I will ever understand. But that kind of brings me into this whole thing of just like the complete lack of understanding from some people that I've seen as to why people don't like this. You know, like Alex fans, you know, stop taking this so seriously. Why taking this so seriously? You're all pearl clutching. Dude, like, do you not understand the idea that this character has existed for nearly 30 years? And this is the same with Patricia and Tom as well. These characters have existed as they are for 30 years now. And then all of a sudden, this is just a thing that exists now. This didn't exist prior to Alex coming out for Street Fighter 6. The day before Alex came out, this wasn't a thing. And I've seen some people try and say that this was always the intent. Oh, Patricia had a crush on Alex. Alex and Patricia were always meant to be. No, fuck off. That was never the case. I've had people comment on my own videos, like the reaction video I did. Like, people have been saying this, oh, this was always the intent. It wasn't. Trust me, I play these games. I have more Japanese Street Fighter books, like Street Fighter 3 books, sorry. I have more of them than most people who are watching this video probably have combined. And I'm not doing that to brag or to make myself big-headed. It's just a fact. Like, I love, you know, the Street Fighter 3 games. Huge part of my life for many years now. I know what I'm talking about. And every single person who is trying to say that this was always the intent, you are full of shit. And I don't care if you get pissed. You are full of shit. And I hate that I'm seeing people try to defend this as saying that this was always the intent. It was not always the intent, and I can prove it wasn't the intent because I can pull up this comment that Neo G made about all this. Now Neo G, I've seen people say that he was the director of Third Strike. That's not true. He was the design planner, still a very important person, involved in the game, but he was working on, the Street Fighter 3 games from New Generation. So he was here from the start. He was here from the same time that these characters were made. And this is his opinion on it. I hadn't gotten around to it yet, so I ended up peeking at Alex's spoilers. But man, so that's how it turned out. Now he's since clarified this, and he has said he is neither against this nor for this, which I personally understood. I see a lot of people tried to make it sound like, oh, the director of Third Strike hates this like everybody does. That wasn't what I was personally trying to get across when I first talked about this. I do apologise to Neo G if, the tweet I made about this got him any unneeded attention or backlash. But at the same time, you can clearly see here that this was not the intent. This was clearly not the intent. You've got one of the people who was involved in the development of Street Fighter 3 and Alex, Patricia and Tom, who was there from the start, surprised, like just kind of really caught off guard about how, these characters that he helped create turned out. And this is kind of the overall feeling. It's like, what annoys me is the people who are going into other people's spaces, basically Alex fan spaces, who are really, affected badly by this. And basically just trying to downplay it and telling these people that they shouldn't care. Like, you shouldn't care about this. These are fictional characters. Who cares about the story? All this nonsense. And it pisses me off so much because I genuinely, who are you to tell somebody else how they should feel about their own characters, Who are you to tell them how they should feel about this? But yeah, I don't want to spend too long on this because it's kind of me just kind of screaming into the void, really. I know these people will never change. They'll never stop doing it. There's no real need for me to go on, forever about it. So I'll leave it here. But yeah, all I can really say is, to the other fellow Alex fans who've really been, affected badly by this, and now have to deal with other people kind of getting on their case and telling them how they should feel about it. I'm sorry people are like this. We don't deserve this. None of us deserve this. The characters didn't deserve this. And it's just a shame to see, but yeah, that's my only real thing I wanted to say about it. I just really, really disappointed and flat out disgusted with some of the people that I thought were really cool people who have just been saying really abhorrent things and just reacting in such a disgusting way about this towards other people, specifically, people who ship Alex with other certain characters. The whole thing is it just sucks. That's all I can really say. So the main thing I wanted to talk about with this video is, this constant back and forth I've been seeing since pretty much, as soon as this update dropped and people saw his story, is this kind of thing about like, what was the Japanese meaning and the Japanese intent behind this, this whole storyline? Because I've seen people really trying to cope hard and say like it was a mistranslation. Because obviously the biggest issue, I mean the whole thing's fucked, but one of the bigger issues people have been latching onto is the fact that it's also revealed at the same time as, Alex marrying and impregnating Patricia, that Tom and Alex's mother are cousins. Now, people have been going apeshit about this, trying to point out, they didn't mean cousin means something else in Japan, all this stuff. From what I've read and what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've been told, the Japanese version also says that Tom and Alex's mother are cousins. Now, I've heard all this stuff from people being like, oh, cousins doesn't mean necessarily that they're family. It could just, they use it to describe people who are family friends and stuff like that. I don't know, man. From what I can tell and what I can see, it pretty much means the same thing here in this context. But, even if we just ignore that, okay, fair enough. Cousins in this instance, in this specific line of dialogue, cousins doesn't mean cousins by blood, okay? Whatever. We'll just give that there. It's still fucked, because everything else that was said in the Japanese version of the game is somehow even worse than what we got in the localized version. So big shout out to Princess Emnus for this. They posted some machine translated stuff from Alex's World Tour conversations, and I know they've been getting a lot of shit for this, which is really unfair, because they use machine translation. And look, obviously, if you have the option of somebody who knows and understands Japanese and can translate it, you will obviously go with that person over machine translation. But machine translation doesn't just make up sentences. Most of the time, it will give you a sentence and you kind of have to piece together what the context is and how it works together with everything else that's before and after it. Yeah, of course it's not ideal. I would love a native Japanese person to come in and just, explain everything, or somebody who understands Japanese can come in and explain it. But the point I'm making is like, machine translation, most of the time, it does the job. You can still understand roughly what's going on here. So Princess Zemnis posted this on Twitter last night, and by this point I pretty much I had calmed down. Obviously I was starting to find the funny side of it. I was still obviously shocked and appalled, but I wasn't, as just filled with rage and disgust as I was when I played it myself the day before. But then I saw these, and it all just came crashing down again, and I just lost my shit again. But yeah, I'm going to go through some of the stuff that Alex says in the Japanese version of World Tour that Princess Semnus translated and posted. Obviously, machine translation, take it with a grain of salt, whatever you want. I use 2 different machine translations on these screenshots that were posted from the Japanese version. I use Google Translate and I use DeepL. Both of them pretty much said the exact same thing, 1 or 2 minor differences here and there. So personally, I am willing to believe that these are about as accurate as we can get in terms of machine translation. But I'm just going to read them out because this is, I'll give you a spoiler now, this is fucked. Okay, this is not good. This genuinely makes this all like 10,000 times worse, but let's just get into it. So in this first screenshot that Princess Semnus posted, you got Alex saying, "My parents died early, I was taken in by Tom." We knew this. A lot of people have been kind of, what's the word? Pedantic, that's the word. People have kind of been a bit pedantic about this, because some people have been like, well, Tom never formally adopted Alex. He only took him in as a student, Tom is the master, Alex is the student, and then Patricia was sometimes there. But you'll see in a minute, but you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a legal adoption for somebody to consider somebody else like family. I kind of can't believe I have to spell that out and have to explain that, but you can, be taken in by somebody and be considered part of the family without somebody signing paperwork saying legally this person is my family. And this is kind of the part I was talking about earlier. Just the way people have been kind of fine-tuning it is well, they're only second cousins, so it's still legal. Okay, cool. I'm glad legal is the line that we're drawing in the sand here, It's all fine, okay? You can be married to your cousin as long as it's the second cousin. I know legally, yes, that is probably the closest you can get to being related before it starts being weird and illegal. But the fact that people are like, guys, relax, he's only the second cousin. Are you fucking being real? I didn't want to talk about it. It's just people's reactions to this have been pissing me off. Anyway, let's continue. Tom is my mother's cousin, and apparently he and my father were rivals who often got into fights. Tom is my mother's cousin. Again, I'm sure some people in Japan use cousin to mean, family friends. Other people in the world do this. I have cousins who I have uncles and aunts who aren't, blood related. That may be the case. If that was the case, maybe specify it. Maybe they will clarify it and, they'll change it or they'll reveal, we kind of did a poor, way of explaining it. If that's the case, then fair enough. But I can only take what I get, and what I'm getting here is that Tom is Alex's mother's cousin. And given the rest of this shit that we're going to be going into in a second, I kind of don't want to give Capcom, the benefit of the doubt and be like, guys, maybe they worded it poorly. Maybe they just meant, family friend cousin type thing. I'm just willing to just go, you know what, until they clarify it. If they ever clarify it, Tom and Alex's mother were cousins. Blood-related cousins. Again, given what we're going to get into in a second, I have no reason to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. I'm sorry. People will disagree. People will probably argue in the comments. Whoa. Dude, I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, they are blood cousins. Okay, here's the next 2. I'm just going to combine these into one. He's my trainer, my manager, and my adoptive father. No, now it's the real deal. That's my dad. He's talking about Tom here, obviously. Alex is saying my adoptive father. Again, it's probably more of a figurative adoption rather than a literal. As far as I know, he was never formally adopted. There wasn't any... I don't think there was ever a cutscene or an ending or an artwork where you see Tom signing the legal adoption papers on Alex. So I'll give people the benefit of the doubt on that one. It's probably more of a figurative meaning. No, now it's the real deal. That's my dad. The father of my wife is my dad. Cool, awesome, totally not fucking weird at all. Okay, let's move on. I first saw baby Patricia about a year after I lost my parents. I was still a pathetic crybaby, unable to recover. So on this one, we're given a time frame of when Alex first met Patricia as a baby. It's about a year, he says, after he lost his parents. I don't think a concrete age has ever been given for how old Alex was when his parents died, but obviously it was about a year after Patricia was born. Obviously in the big artwork that everybody's been posting where you see, Alex holding a baby Patricia, obviously Alex looks to be about 4 to 5 years old. Maybe you could say a bit younger. I think he's about 4 to 5 years old. There's nothing inherently wrong with the idea of 2 people who knew each other in childhood growing up and eventually falling in love, even if adopted in a sense. The idea of that is there's nothing wrong with it. It's a common form of trope that's used in some things, but the optics of having this big beautiful artwork, and the artwork is great, don't get me wrong, the artwork's gorgeous, but having this thing of Alex and Patricia's relationship, and you're having, you know, on the right, you've got Alex and Patricia hugging, embracing at their wedding, and then like 5 centimeters to the left of them, you've got Alex holding, like a 4 to 5 year old Alex holding a like newborn Patricia. It's fucking weird. Like, I'm sorry. People can be like, oh, you know, second cousins marrying, whatever. In my culture, dude, in my culture, I'm sorry, it's fucking weird. I don't like it. I just don't understand why it was a thing. Anyway, moving on. Tom told me she's your sister. Please help her, they said. Help? Me? There's no way I, with no power whatsoever, could do it. While I was mulling things over, Patricia's small hand grabbed my finger. So obviously we've got the line here where Tom apparently told a child Alex, when they met Patricia as a newborn, this is your sister, please help take care of her and, you know, help her, you know, protect her, look after her. Again, they are not literal siblings, I get it. Obviously second cousins, all that shit. Like, emotionally, the relationship there between the two has always been siblings. Since the very first time we see them together in Street Fighter 3, it has always been shown as a sibling relationship. And I proved this by pulling up a quote from a games fan book for Street Fighter 3 New Generation at the end of the stream I did, where I had the quote where, you know, they talk about Alex's relationship with Patricia and vice versa, and the answer was that Alex sees Patricia as a real sister and Patricia loves Alex like an older brother. This was always the case. Fuck the people who keep saying in my comments and in other places that this was always the intent, them being together. No, it wasn't. It never was. They were always, from the start, supposed to be a brother and sister type thing. Tom saying to a young Alex, Patricia is your sister, please look after her, that lines up with that. I have no problem with that. That makes sense. This, however, doesn't make sense when it eventually comes around when Alex decides to marry and impregnate Tom's daughter, who Tom said to Alex as a kid, this is your sister. The whole thing is fucked. I'm sorry. People can defend this and downplay it as much as they want. The whole thing is fucked. And then they just make it even worse by, you know, having, you know, Patricia grabbing Alex's finger be this moving moment for him where he realizes that he wants to protect Patricia for life. Nothing wrong with protecting Patricia for life if Alex sees her as a sister and Alex sees himself as an older brother that needs to protect his sister. That's fine. I have no problem with that because that lines up with Street Fighter 3. What doesn't line up with Street Fighter 3 is Alex going, you know, I see myself as the older brother that needs to fuck his sister and marry her. Ridiculous. It's just unbelievable. It's just such shit. And it continues here. I'll just read through all this at once. Even though it's a baby's soft floppy hand, it's strangely powerful. She looked at me with eyes full of pure innocence and gave me a gentle smile. So for some reason I answered, okay, I'll protect this kid. That's what I thought. I decided to become strong enough to at least protect one little baby. I started getting training from Tom. Okay, this carries over what I was just talking about. I should have, you know, clicked onto this before talking about all that. Yeah, this is fine. I have no problem with this. If this lines up with Alex and Patricia being brother and sister like it was in Street Fighter 3. None of this is bad. Yet. Because you can see this and look at this under the lens of a adopted brother looking over her and protecting his younger adoptive sister. But given we know where this relationship now goes, it is completely fucked. Completely fucked. And it makes Alex, the logic of where Alex goes from this, and there's nothing wrong with any of this, but to go from Alex looking at Patricia like this when they're young and she's a baby and he's a young kid and going, I'm going to protect her, to then going, I'm going to crack my cousin when we're both old enough, is fucking outrageous. It's the most insane thing I've ever come across in my life. You know, there's probably been other insane things, but in the sense of just the scope and the scale of the Street Fighter series, we've never had bullshit like this. It's like what I said earlier. If this was, I fucked my sister cousin and then got her pregnant, cool, whatever. But this isn't that. This is Street Fighter 6. This shouldn't be a thing. Why is this a thing? God, it just blows my mind. And we're not even at the worst part yet, because the next one, this is what made me have a fucking mental breakdown almost. Again, this is Alex's quotes here. At some point, she stopped being my little sister. She's still by my side smiling, with the same eyes as when she was a baby. Fuck everything. I fucking want these people in jail. I want them arrested. I want the studio closed. I want Capcom and everybody to fucking go to jail. I hate this. What the fuck is wrong with these people? At some point, she stopped being my little sister. Instant jail. Instant prison immediately. Everybody goes to fucking jail. Just that sentence alone. She's still by my side smiling, with the same eyes as when she was a baby. He's still, when she is pregnant with his own child, he's still thinking about seeing his wife, who is pregnant with his child, who he is the second cousin of, and helped protect when she was a baby. He's looking at her now and going, you know, I still see the baby in you, person who I just had sex with and now have a kid with. What the fuck? What the fuck? Dude, when I saw at some point she stopped being my little sister, I feel like I actually had an aneurysm. Like, I feel like my brain almost shuts. So I can't speak now, never mind then. Fuck. I don't even know what to do at this point. I don't know what else I can say. Like, at some point she stopped being my little sister. I honestly think is one of the craziest things I've ever seen a fictional character say, like in a game like this. Obviously, again, using the previous example, visual novel. So, like, this was the main character of Street Fighter 3. This is the person who is like the face of the Street Fighter 3 sub-series. This is the guy. They got Kenny Omega to do the fucking mocap for this guy. Like, did they tell Kenny? I imagine not, because I don't know why Kenny would do it, unless he's just that big of a mark that he's willing to look past this bullshit in order to get the job. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe that this is real. And like I said, I've used 2 separate machine translations, Google Translate and DeepL. This is what he says. At some point, she stopped being my little sister. She's still by my side smiling with the same eyes as when she was a baby. Yeah, no, like, it's fucked. It's beyond fucked. And this is kind of the finale of what I want to talk about. Like, this character's done. Like, Alex can't come back from this. Patricia can't come back from this. Tom can't come back from this. Obviously, it's not as bad as, for Tom and Patricia, because they are, like, NPCs. Alex, though, holy shit, dude. They took this guy behind the back and they blew off his fucking head, like just obliterated this guy. And I saw people being like, oh, they got to retcon it, they got to change it, like emergency story patch. The idea of them even doing an emergency story patch is so outrageous. Like, it's so funny. Just the idea of like you fucking up a story so bad you got to do an emergency story patch. People have been saying all this stuff and being like, you know, they got to change it, they got to retcon it, they got to, you know. Personally, I don't see them doing it. You know, this studio can't do more than like 2 costumes per character at this point. Do you really think they're going to waste time and money redoing this stuff? Because they're going to have to do new artwork. Because I tell you what now, the bare minimum obviously is getting rid of the cousin link. But this is still fucked even without that. And like, believe you me, like, I'm against this relationship. Even if like, as I speak right now, they put out a patch saying, you know what, the cousin thing is removed. I still hate this. Because these 2 people shouldn't be in a relationship because they have always been portrayed as brother and sister. And just going, okay, they're not cousins anymore. Yeah, that fixes it. That fixes a huge problem. It doesn't fix the whole problem. Because you've still got nonsense like this with, you know, all the stuff about, like, she stopped being my little sister. That is such a fucked up sentence. Like, think about that. Think about that from Alex's perspective. He grew up with Patricia. You know, he met her not long after she was born. And Tom asked to protect, you know, can you help protect my daughter? She is your adopted sister. Please protect her. And Alex went, yes, I will protect this girl. She is my younger sister. I will protect her. And then at some point in Alex's life, he looked at Patricia and went, you know what? I'm having a kid with you. It is so fucked up. It is so beyond messed up. And this is the thing that pisses me off when people try and downplay this and be like, you're taking it too seriously. This is one of the most fucked up things I've seen in a game that shouldn't be fucked up. Like, there are villains in Street Fighter who are less fucked up than this. I'm not even kidding. Like, Fang is more respectable as a person because he doesn't act this way towards Aki. Fang has more morals than Alex. That's fucked. That pisses me off to say, but that's where we're at now. And I think about that. Where are we at now? And yeah, this character's done. They're not going to change this. If they do, I'll be shocked. I don't think they're even going to really address it. I think they're going to just carry on. They're going to wait for this to blow over, give it a week or 2 and people will move on. And then they'll start promoting Ingrid and everybody will just go, oh, cool, Ingrid, and people will move on. And the Alex fans will just be left fucking shot bloody in an alley. Because that's where we are. Like, Alex as a character is done. He can't come back from this. Like, do you seriously, like, you see the headlines now, like Street Fighter 7? Like, Street Fighter 7 brings back famed, like, cousin cracker Alex to the roster. Capcom announces that person who married and had a kid with their second cousin is coming to Street Fighter 7. They're not going to do that. The headlines are fucked, you know, and I genuinely think their answer to this isn't going to be to change the story. Their answer is to just not bring back Alex anymore. Like, I flat out do not think we're going to be seeing Alex in a new Street Fighter game for a very long time. He's definitely not going to be in Street Fighter 7, maybe Street Fighter 8 and beyond, but I don't know, I could easily see him missing Street Fighter 8 too. Like, this character is done. His reputation is done. All I've seen for days now is people slandering this guy. Completely deserved, completely justified. I'd slander him too. But like, you can't go back from this. There is no coming back from this. It's done. It's over. And I think that ultimately just gets me to where I am now, where it's like, yeah, obviously as you saw in the reaction video in the stream, I deleted this game and I'm not coming back. Like, I'm sorry. I know people like my input on Street Fighter 6 and like my content with Street Fighter 6. I'm done with this game. I'm done with the modern Street Fighter series. You know, this was going to be a video I was going to talk about when it came to the time. Like, I, for a long time now, have not wanted a Street Fighter 7. Like, I seriously, genuinely hope the next Street Fighter game doesn't happen for a long time. I'm over Street Fighter at this point. And my main reason for thinking that, for pretty much up until now, has been because I wanted a sequel to Street Fighter 3 more than anything. I remember when Street Fighter 5 was wrapping up and people were like, oh, I don't want Street Fighter 6, I want Rival Schools or Darkstalkers or something like that. And I was like, no, I really want Street Fighter 6 because we're finally at a point where we can move past Street Fighter 3 in the timeline. And I want to see what that Street Fighter is like. And we've got it, and it's shit. It's fucking terrible. I hate it. This game has nothing to do with Street Fighter 3. The only mention of Street Fighter 3's main plot, said from the main character of Street Fighter 3, was Alex saying, like, I went around the world once and fought some weirdos and you got some cool guild art, but that was it. It wasn't even mentioned by name. That is, like, this is the main character of Street Fighter 3, and the plot just doesn't matter. It hasn't mattered for a long time now. It never will matter again. And now we're at that point, I'm like, this series can't offer me anything. Like, I can't get anything from this series anymore. That's kind of what I felt story-wise. But, you know, at the same time, I was thinking, at least I have the characters. At least I'm getting Alex. At least there's the potential for Sean and Necro and Makoto and Q and all these characters coming back. You know, maybe one day we can get Remy. I don't fucking want them back now. Why would I want these characters back if they did this to the main character of Street Fighter 3? What are they going to do to Remy? What are they going to do with Sean? Are they going to have Sean marry Laura? It sounds insane, but I never in a million years thought this bullshit was possible. But here we are. You know? And that's just kind of the root of it all. Like, I can't trust these developers anymore. I can't trust them to handle the characters I love with respect. So at that point, we're just done here. Like, there's nothing else anybody's going to get anything out of it, you know? I'm not going to get anything from these developers except more misery, more disappointment, more depression, more anger. And as a result, they're not going to get any more money from me. They're not going to get any more content from me. I'm not talking about this game anymore. I'm not covering it. I'm done. Like, I'm done. And deep down, I've wanted to be done with this game for a while. I've been thinking about it for a long time now. I kind of hate this game. I really try to like it and praise it, because the game does really cool things. But the last 3 years of just covering this game for me has just felt like an uphill battle of me trying to like it and the game keep pushing me down and go, no. This is the final nail in the coffin for that. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm just done. Why? Why should I even attempt to give a shit about this game or its future? Why should I be excited for Ingrid? Why should I be excited for Season 4? Because they're going to do Ingrid and they're going to do Season 4. They could add Sakura, Sean, they got all the characters I want in this game. And at the back of my mind, I'm going to go, Alex fucked his cousin. I don't want that. I don't want that. And I'm not doing it. So yeah, this is my official announcement. I said it at the stream, but obviously that was hot off the press emotional reaction. This is my more kind of, it's been a couple of days and I've thought about it and I've sat on it and I've come to the conclusion. I'm done with Street Fighter 6. I'm done with modern Street Fighter. As far as I'm concerned, this series ended at 3. Maybe I can throw in 4 and 5, but plot-wise, 3 was the last game in the series to me. I want nothing to do with this franchise anymore in terms of its modern output. I want nothing to do with Street Fighter 6. I want nothing to do with these writers. They disgust me. They piss me off. They've shit on everything I've loved for so long with this game and, you know, this series. And I've just had it. This is absolutely the final straw. Because at this point, of all the times I've shit on this game and complained and said, I hate this, I wish they did this differently. If they did this and I still supported this game and still did streams, what does that say about me? It says I've got no moral ground, like I've got no standards. You can shit in my mouth and I'll just go, okay, cool, when's the next one? I'm not doing it, I'm done. So this is my official announcement for those that have stuck around for this video. Street Fighter 6 in this channel is done, future Street Fighter games are done. It's just over. Like, this character is done, this series is done, I can't support this anymore, so yeah, them's the breaks. I am sorry for the people who enjoyed my content and enjoyed what I did and how I covered Street Fighter 6. I've seen people in other videos comment that they appreciate my output and my input on this series and my thoughts. And not my thoughts about how Capcom have handled this series, which is, this game. Well, series and game. But I'm done with it, man. I don't care if I'm one of those people who like, oh, you know, you hate the current thing. Yeah, why wouldn't I hate the current thing if they're doing shit like this? But yeah, I'm gonna go. There's nothing else I can really say. I'm hoping this is going to be my last video on this. I'm going to be taking a break from stuff for a while now. I am working on a big video that I've been working on for like 2 years now. And it's, you know, it's making good progress, but it's going to be a long while yet. Probably be a while before you hear from me on this channel. Unless Capcom put out a statement about all this, and then I'll talk about the statement and if I think it's a good one or not. And all that stuff, then, then I'll come back for that. But I don't see them addressing this at all. I think they're just going to wait and just hope it all just blows over, which it probably will, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for joining me in hell. It's been fun. It's not been fun, it's been fucking hell on earth, but it is what it is. And, I still love Alex. I've seen people be like, oh, you gotta remove your profile picture now. No, I still love Alex. I still love Street Fighter 3. Those games mean so much to me still. Alex still, means so much to me. I'm not gonna let this modern Capcom team ruin that for me. I'm not gonna let them ruin this character for me. I'm not gonna let them ruin Street Fighter 3 for me retroactively. I refuse. So yeah, I'll leave things here, like I said. Thank you all so much for watching if you got this far. Hopefully in the next time you hear from me, it'll be happier Scotia, happier times, but I suppose we'll just see how it goes. So until then, bye.